Three, two, one, ghost. Hey, everybody. Welcome to 321 Ghost. I'm your host with the Silent G, Kyle, and as always, joined by my pal Natalie. Hey, Natalie, how are you?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing good. We are still chugging along full steam ahead through spooky season.
Yeah.
Um, has anything changed spooky season wise since the last time we spoke?
Yes, I finished my Halloween decorations in my front yard officially. So that's pretty exciting. I have this new thing I've never done before that I found at Spirit Halloween. And it looks like so you have like a little tombstone and then you set up this little brown, like a tarp, and it makes it look like it's like a fresh grave. So that was kind of fun.
Ooh, okay. I like
Yeah.
that.
I might put like a shovel or something, like kind of stick it into the grass. I thought that might be cute.
Love that.
I just don't want anyone to steal my shovel. I don't think they would, but you never know.
It's hard to pass up a good shovel.
How about you?
Um, Gosh, pretty good. I don't know. I don't think a whole lot has changed. I feel like I've scheduled a few more things. You know, like I said, doing some haunted house visits, always pretty fun. Enjoy that situation. I'm going to a drag show slash screening of Friday the 13th, part four, the final chapter.
That sounds like a good time.
It does sound like a good time. So I'm very excited about that because I love that intersection of I love the intersection of camp and horror.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, what is drag without camp, right? And so finding
Mm-hmm.
that intersection of I don't know, like who are the two people that host the like spooky version of Drag Race? Boulet Brothers?
Oh, the Boulet brothers, yeah.
I do like that show. It doesn't have the same drama as Drag Race does, but I do like obviously I like the aesthetic. I just feel like there's a lot more. Hmm. I just feel like the makeup and the costumes are just more detailed, you know? That could be personal preference.
I mean, that's those are fighting words for sure. But like I think what it is you get more spooky options. Like there are definitely spooky queens on Drag Race as well, but there's way more on, I mean, like what is it? What is it called? Dragula? Am I making that
Yeah.
up? Yeah. Um, yeah, and that like it's all spooky, so that's fun. But yeah, you have to get creative when you're like only doing spooky drag. Competitive.
Yeah. I think so
Yeah.
too. And that's why I do always obviously appreciate every time on Drag Race there's an episode dedicated to something spooky, all
Mm-hmm.
about that. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Today we're talking about a pretty fun one. We don't talk about a whole lot of like big budget horror movies because honestly, one,
That's true.
they don't come along very often,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a little bit kind of a relic of, well, I don't know. I feel like all the big budget horror movies were like more like Richard Gere thrillers more than anything else. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah,
the horror,
thrillers tend to be more big budget for sure.
right? We're talking about 1999's Sleepy Hollow, directed by Tim Burton, industry legend, I think we've said before,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this are we wasn't that just a month ago that we did Beetlejuice? So two two Tim Burtons month to month back to back. That makes sense.
Well, Beetlejuice was in August, I think. So we skipped one.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, you're right. Okay.
Remember, we took
Yeah. Yeah,
September
we took it.
off.
I know. Look at us. Oh my gosh. Went by in a flash.
Self-care, love it. Um, Now Beetlejuice, yes, is has a lot of spooky elements, right? Same with Edward Scissorhands.
Mhm.
I mean, he's made movies about people who make horror movies, right? With Ed Wood. But this, surprisingly enough, I feel like this is the first movie of Tim Burton's, and maybe only, that's like straight up horror. Like no comedy, horror.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess I would agree. I mean, he throws a couple little jokes in there that aren't like particularly funny, but it definitely is more horror leaning than any of his other ones. And of course there has to be romance. Like He's kind of a sucker for that, so had to throw that in there. But there's romance and horror too. So, yeah, this is probably his most straight up horror.
Now, this movie starring Johnny Depp,
Of course.
obviously. It was always his first choice.
Yeah.
Um, Johnny Depp,
Yeah. He's
kind of a
good in
creep.
this. You got to give him credit for he is good in this movie.
He's okay in this one. I don't know if any of the acting is particularly great in this movie, to be honest, but maybe outside of, I will not say one unkind word about Casper Van Dien, industry legend.
Never. Yeah. No, he's industry legend and I think he's great in this. I agree with you though. Like as I was watching it last time, I was hoping I was like, oh, Kyle's probably not going to like this. I don't think that this is Christina Ricci's best work either. She feels really kind of boring and flat in this, and maybe it's just because she doesn't do much, but I agree with you that a lot of the acting is just kind of we're here. And there's just a lot of white men.
Yeah. Judging from the Wikipedia, I think Christina Ricci agrees with you. She said this was a pretty just empty, nothing character. So she's like, it's just pretty boring to play.
Yeah.
Can we say industry legend Christina Ricci?
Oh, hell yeah. Absolutely. I love her.
Just on Wednesday alone. Oh my gosh.
Hmm. Yeah. We'll get to the Addams Family.
We'll get to the Addams Family movies. They're so good.
Hmm.
When I say I love horror comedy, like really like that's in that echelon of like fuck. Oh my
Top
gosh.
tier.
The sequel, a rare sequel that I will get, well, I'm not going to give away all my hot takes, but
Yeah,
a rare
don't.
sequel that really takes a leap past the original.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. I just watched it recently. I won't show my cards too soon either, but I watched it and I was just like, damn, this movie is always a fucking good time. It's so fun.
Also kind of a bunch of people that Jeffrey Jones, who's also in Beetlejuice. Ugh. And then also you've got Michael Gambon,
Mhm.
Miranda Richardson, like I said, Casper Van Dien. You also have Ian McDermott and who am I thinking? Michael Gow. Michael Gow, I think, who came out of retirement. He was Alfred in the
Oh,
Batman movies.
yes.
No, he's always
But
a
I didn't
fun, always
realize
a
he
fun
was
situation.
retired.
Yeah. And this movie wasn't originally supposed to be directed by Tim Burton. Um, Now, is it Kevin Yeager? Kevin Yeager? I'm gonna say Yeager, but
I
I
think
could be
Jaeger.
wrong.
I think Jaeger.
Um, he was originally slotted to direct this movie, and it was originally supposed to be like a very low budget creature feature. It's going to be a showcase of cool deaths and practical gore, which sounds
Hmm.
fucking awesome,
That
right?
sounds
Which I
kind
would
of, yeah, that sounds kind of intriguing.
like I kind of would have probably would have like give me both, like
Yeah.
I don't want to say I want one over the other, but I think both definitely can
I think
fit.
both. Yeah.
So Kevin Yeager, he's famous for his effects work.
Mm.
Most notably Freddy Krueger in The Crypt Keeper.
Both excellent.
Doing like the makeup effects for those. He did like all the good Nightmare on Elm Street movies, Starship Troopers. Hey, another
Mm.
Casper Van Dien connection. Love it. And then also he worked on Child's Play, designing the Chucky doll, where he met his wife Catherine Hicks.
Mm. Hmm. I love that.
Scrolling through his Wikipedia, he also made the giant suit, the fat suit that Weird Al wears on the video for Fat.
Yeah.
I would love to see Weird Al Yankovic live. I never have, but
Oh,
I
I
feel
would
like
love to
that'd
as
be a fun
well.
situation.
He's touring now.
Oh my God, do we need to go?
We might need to
Oh my gosh.
look into
Uh,
it.
Everyone tune into Alcast. It's where we do a deep dive into every single track by track of the Weird Al catalog. Catalog.
Oh my
That's
God. That was, that was really bad. Don't
so we're
edit that out.
talking. So we're talking about what movie we're talking about? Sleepy Hollow.
Sleepy Hollow.
Love it. Um, so Kevin Yeager he wrote the story for this, based, of course, off the Washington Irving story, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. And as the production was going through, or as it was kind of gaining steam, he ultimately was demoted to lead
Aw.
special effects person again, which allegedly he said he didn't mind doing, but I mean, I don't know.
He was probably being humble and kind.
He also directed, but didn't put his name on. Wonder why? Hellraiser Bloodline. Did you ever see that one?
Oh, that is the fourth one,
Probably.
I think. Maybe. I feel like I've maybe seen them all once and regretted half of them.
The music, no surprise, Danny Elfman doing the score for this movie. It's, okay, so I can't remember necessarily the music off the top of my head for this one, but I do remember it's pretty subdued for a Danny Elfman Tim Burton theme.
I agree, but I really like the score for this movie because it doesn't sound like, I mean, it has definitely like Danny Elfman type things
The
going
flourishes,
on.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But like throughout the movie, like I think he does a good job of like putting his like little footprint on it, but it's good if you like really listen to it. Now I would just want to listen to the score on its own. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow.
Just like with a lot of Tim Burton movies, like just the set design and production design like is just fucking top notch.
This
Shit
is
looks so
beautiful,
good.
this movie. Yeah, I
What a
love how
spooky little town.
spooky it is. Even New York looks spooky though. Like everything looks very
Foggy.
gray. Yeah, yeah, like it's just very like it's gray, but it's very detailed and beautiful and like the trees look gorgeous. Like everything about it, the costuming is unreal. Like I all the costumes in this movie are incredible.
It's just, you're right. Everything is just so gray and so foggy. And I live in Seattle. And
You were like, it looks like
so it's like,
home.
yeah. So basically, it just looks like between like October into June, you know? And then also, when I was living in San Francisco in the Sunset District, um, thinking about San Francisco is that you can be on one side of the city and it's 50 degrees and overcast, and then you can go to the other side of the city and it's like 75 and sunny. Like maybe that's a
Yeah.
little extreme, but still, like, so I was like just thinking like, gosh, it's just like I was living in the Sunset District where I would go like a month or two longer without ever seeing the sun,
Ugh,
which I loved.
terrible.
My little vampire heart, I love it.
Today is the first day of the year in San Diego that I didn't see sun. Like it was not a sunny day and I just wanted to like curl up in a ball and take a nap. I blasted my heater. I've been in a sweater all day. I'm wearing fuzzy slippers. Like I didn't know what to do with myself. It was only 66 degrees, I think. But I felt like
That's
I was in
insane.
Sleepy Hollow with palm trees.
It's pushing 70 in San Diego, and you're like, oh my God, it may as well be in fucking haunted ass New England, running from
Where's
witches
the
and
headless
shit.
horseman?
I love that. Um, I'm happy to just jump into this. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Wonderful. Obviously, you know how much I love I Know What You Did Last Summer, and I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. So when you see that Mandalay Entertainment logo come up, that shit just fucks me up. I'm getting hyped already. It's like seeing the Dimension logo come up. You're just like, yeah, I'm in for some shit. Or what's the one that Ghost Ship does? The
Dark Castle.
Dark Castle. I want to say Dark Tower. That's not it. But yeah, when the Dark Castle logo comes up, you're just like, yeah, I'm in for some shit.
Yeah, yeah, you're like this is gonna be great. I was wondering how you were gonna tie I Know What You Did Last Summer and I Still Know What You Did Last Summer into this.
In the beginning, as you're seeing kind of like the credits come up, you're seeing this will, Peter Van Garrett's will being
Mhm.
drawn up. So you know something, it has something to do with this, right?
Yeah, they're revealing a lot of the movie if you actually have seen it before and are paying attention, like right up front here.
Oh yeah, it's like that. And then well, one, I mean, they're just like, yeah, dude, it's the Headless Horseman. And then like two, like, man, you want your answers. Here's this family tree.
Yeah,
There you go. So it's like
it's
you
right
put that
here.
shit together like very quickly.
Yeah, for sure. What I really like about these opening, like this opening credit situation, it kind of starts and then it stops and then it starts again. But I love that
Mhm.
foggy font that happens. Like it's like the fog like forms the letters and then they kind of like dissipate a little bit. That's super fun.
Who doesn't love a good wispy font?
Yeah, I like a wispy font.
Remind me, who is this being killed in the beginning? Is this Van Garrett?
That is Peter Van Garrett. I'm so glad that you asked because I wrote it down because I was like, I feel like I'm gonna forget who this is in the
Right.
so he's the oh, fuck. He's
He's the main guy. He's the guy who's that's his will.
yeah, but is he the brother of Katrina's father?
Oh Jesus. I don't know. I like how Christina Ricci was just like, everyone's tied together by blood or
Or
sex
marriage?
somehow. Like,
Yeah, gross. Yeah.
yeah, you're just like, ew.
Yeah, we're
I
all
mean, I
just
guess
fucking
it's a
cousins
small
around
town.
here. Yeah.
So yeah, so that's why Christina Ricci's like, good luck. I
Yeah.
mean,
She
I
found a
don't know
man
if you
from out
think
of town and she was like, "Oh, this one's for me."
I love that. And I didn't even think about that.
That would make him way more appealing, right?
Oh, she's like, oh my God, you
You are
you're
not
not
related
related to
to
me in any
me.
way. That is a turn on. So he doesn't take it far, this Will. He's
Mhm.
decapitated. I think for as bloodless as this movie is, I mean, there is blood.
There's some blood.
Whenever blood comes up, it's more kind of comical. Usually it's like Johnny Depp just trying to hack into something and just gets
Yes.
splattered with it. But and they kind of use that kind of that, they write it off as like, well, the sword's red hot from hell and cauterizes as soon as it
Hmm.
cuts, so you don't see a whole lot of blood, but I just get a kick out of heads being lobbed off.
Oh yeah. Decapitation. They find like fun creative ways to pull it off from different angles, different weapons, things like that. Brahm, I think, has the bloodiest kill, but it's far away.
Well, and that's because that was like through the gut. So you had like guts spilling out all over the place a
There's
little
like that
bit.
splash.
Yeah. Who
Yeah,
doesn't
I
love a
like
good
it.
blood splash?
Hmm.
So we are in New York, 1799, turn of the century, or we're about to be, right? And we are introduced to our protagonist, Ichabod Crane, who this time is a New York City constable rather than, I don't know, what was he in the original story? Should I have looked that up?
I didn't look into the original story and I've never read it. And I was going to look it up as well. And then I was like, oh, I don't care. The only thing I did, is that terrible? The only thing I did look up is does it have a different ending? And really, the only difference for the ending is that him and Katrina do not end up together.
I don't think he ends up together with himself, right? Doesn't he
Does
get,
he die?
I think he gets his head chopped off. Maybe not. I don't know.
I don't
So
know. Someone tell us.
maybe not, but I do remember the Disney one,
Oh,
right?
yeah. But that's totally different than this.
Totally different. A little less, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Headless demons and shit.
A little
That's
less
pretty going
murder.
pretty hard for Disney. I like that.
Hmm.
Um, we learn that Crane is different from the other constables and the other folk, where he's really about forensic science.
Hmm.
Like you see this body pop up, and he's like, well, we can always examine this body and find out, was he dead before he went in the water? Was he dead
Hmm.
by actually drowning in the river? Um,
Good for
Geez,
him.
yeah, I think so too. We are 225 years since this movie takes place, right?
Hmm.
And we're still fucking faced with just fucking science denial constantly, right? Like
I
everyone,
know.
I'm watching this and be like, God, what really has changed? You know, like
Yeah,
it's
he's having to push some pretty like basic ideas like at them. Like, what if this guy was dead before he went in the water? Like implying that he was murdered. They're like, he's in the water. He drowned. Simple as that. I'm on board with all the autopsies. Absolutely.
Not only do you have science denial from the legal system, but you also have a police force that does not really care to investigate deaths, and brutalizes people.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because they're so quick to deny science, but they're also quick to deny like magic. So what is left at that point?
Well, the movie I feel like is, it's about your faith and your beliefs, and
Mhm.
I don't think it's done eloquently necessarily, but you have this kind of three-pronged battle between like science, magic, and Christianity.
Yeah.
That's what, but like really, that's kind of as deep as it gets. So like, I don't
Hmm.
even know really how much to add on top of that, but um, it's there. I see it,
Yeah, the
but you
Christianity
have
doesn't go very far. I feel like the other two are a little bit more prominent.
so Ichabod is talking to. Ooh, this is Christopher Lee. Always love Christopher Lee, industry
Hmm.
legend. Christopher Lee, I love
Yeah,
him
he
so
can have an
much.
industry legend too.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah. I forget the metal band he was in for a while, but they were pretty fun. He didn't sing. He just like would say like cryptic shit in Latin over a metal band playing, and it's pretty cool. I want to say it's Rhapsody of Fire, Rhapsody in Flames, something like that.
I do not know.
Either one's a cool band name, so hell yeah. Yeah, Christopher Lee, fuck yeah. Also in Wicker Man, obviously, legend. So
Yeah.
this whole scene's pretty funny because one, dude, you're not getting, you're not gonna win or garner anyone's sympathy when you say like, well, maybe if we just used our brains and this and this and this and this, we'd
Ugh.
be able to solve some crimes. And then
Yeah.
also like, where is he right now? Because he also has a dude to his left that's just like straight up in like a torture cage.
I love that.
What is he doing there? Like, are they also like just discussing his work assignments in the middle of like a trial or an execution or like
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
having these side conversations and like no one pays attention to like and there's all those other dudes in the room too. And so no one's paying attention to this guy in this cage and I'm like and they don't. They just like, all right, next scene. Here we go.
Okay, well, this is 1799, so maybe they were like, "Fuck, I'm so sick of hearing his bullshit. Should we just do it now in the middle of this guy's trial?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure, why not? Like, we don't have rules. Just go for it." I'd be excited if I were Ichabod because now if you're going to a place that had a bunch of murders, it's a small town, you got less red tape. You can do all the autopsies you want. They might think that you're Satan worshiping or whatever, but I mean, what are they going to do? Like you're from a city. They're going to listen to whatever you say, I would think.
Right? Like and they treat it like kind of not like a demotion, but like fine, you want to be cute? Go fucking you want to go figure out a mystery? Go off there, figure that out. I don't
Yeah.
know why New York has I mean, police have evolved, I guess, over the years. I don't know. I wish the system's changed where
Have
I'm
they
like,
evolved since 1799?
eh. But I'm like, I don't know why New York City has jurisdiction over Sleepy Hollow. They don't have their own little constable and small town sheriff situation.
Apparently not, because we don't see one. I mean, I feel like we met everyone in the town, and by the end of the movie, who the fuck is even left? So they needed help. Maybe that like Sleepy Hollow was like, hey man, like we need somebody to come out here and check this shit out.
I know this movie comes out like 8 to 10 years prior, but I was getting like Hot Fuzz vibes. You ever see Hot Fuzz?
Mm-hmm.
The cop that's just too good at his job, and they're just like,
I
just
love Hot
go
Fuzz.
off and. I know it's my favorite of those
It's
those
so
Simon
good.
Pegg Nick Frost movies. Christopher Lee wasn't in Hot Fuzz, but the other guy from Wicker Man is in it though. But whatever. Don't mind me. So, but yeah, just the same vibe of just like you're too fucking nosy, dude. Just go out into the country and go
Yeah.
go solve some fun stuff. Hey, guess what? We found a bunch of headless people. Go solve that.
Yeah, they're like, we have so much going on here. We don't have time to investigate things. Like, just go someplace where it's slower moving, solve your one mystery, take your sweet ass time, do your autopsies, use your potions, and everyone will be happy.
So he's like, all right, I guess I have to take this assignment. So he, gets his shit together, sets his science bird free or his pet bird. I guess he has no friends because he couldn't just ask somebody to feed this bird for a second.
Do people
But
do people do that then? They'd be like, no, just set that bird free. What the fuck? I'm not gonna bird sit for you. It's 17.99. What's this, Rover?
right, he like goes and like he doesn't have any friends, so he just like goes and like, maybe asks his like ex-girlfriend or something, and she's like, I'm not gonna watch your fucking bird, bro.
That's
Like,
so dumb that you even have that bird.
yeah. That's why I left you, said stupid fucking bird, bro. So, bruh, I don't know why she says that, but um, so he sets his bird free, and then he heads off to Sleepy Hollow. Um, we're still going through the credits, like you said. There's
Yes, they go on forever.
they go on forever. They go like it's literally like the first 10 minutes of the movie, I think, when the
Hmm.
credits finally stop. Because I was like,
It's very
how
pretty though, like seeing the carriage, like the silhouette of the carriage, like going through the creepy woods, like everything is very visually just beautiful. And then the music is probably at like peak Danny Elfman in this like opening like little portion here, but it's really pretty. And like that first shot that they show of Sleepy Hollow, like where they show how small it is, it's really like dreamy and spooky and just like gorgeous.
you can tell something's fucking up with this town. The people that do talk to him say they're happy that he's there, but also as he's like walking through the town, like no one's outside and everyone's like
Yeah.
closing their windows and shit. They're just like, don't even bring that shit to our doorstep. Don't even
Hmm.
want to talk about it. Like they know
Yeah.
why he's there.
Yeah.
Um, because he's the only one, because he's someone who's not, they're not related to, right? So they're like,
Yeah.
who is this person? He must be new. What's going on? Um, and then you have all of like, I guess like the wealthy and elites of this town all in this spooky ass mansion on the top of this hill
Hmm.
that was built by the lead guy in town. What's his
Van
name?
Garrett.
Van Garrett.
Hmm.
No, not Van Garrett. The other guy.
No, he's not the main guy.
Well, not anymore.
Katrina's
He's
dad.
dead. And that's not Van
Oh,
Garrett.
I'm
That's
sorry, Van Tassel. Van
Van
Tassel.
Tassel. That's it.
There
Sorry.
we go. That's where I was getting confused. Was there's Van Garrett and Van Tassel, which these fucking names and these guys are hard to keep track of.
Yeah. So he arrives. You're kind of introduced to most everybody here. You've got a blindfolded Christina Ricci who's like doing circles, playing her kissing game.
Hmm.
Um,
You know that party was lit because when he's walking in, there's people fucking by the door. Like I'd be like, wow, this city gets down. Like we went from closing windows to just straight up right on the porch. So I'd be very interested.
which you learn is the doctor later
Yeah.
on, which
Hmm.
I'm like, if he was so like, I don't know, if like part of like his willingness to work with what the fuck is their name? Van who?
Van Tassel?
Van Tassel. Okay.
Hmm.
With Lady Van Tassel, I mean, like, I don't know. You think he would hide his indiscretions a little better? Because it seems like he really wasn't.
Yeah. Like at that point, everyone probably already knows and just doesn't talk about it. Like that's the level he's at if he's on the porch, right? Like he's not even going to the woods. There's woods everywhere. I guess there's also a headless horseman in the woods, so maybe stick to the house. But yeah, everybody knows at that point. So I don't know why. Yeah, why I'd be like, fuck you. Everybody knows. I'm not keeping any secrets.
So we're introduced, like I said, to Katrina, played by Christina Ricci, Katrina Van Tassel, daughter
Hmm.
of Big Man Van Tassel. I don't know why I'm gonna keep fucking up with these names. Sorry,
Just
everybody.
going. I
But
like big man Van Tassel. We'll just
yeah,
that's his name now.
yeah. Um,
Baltus Van Tassel.
she comes up and gives Johnny Depp a kiss on the cheek, blindfolded,
Mhm.
pulls away, and then you see our boy Casper Van Dien, who's not
Oh,
happy about this.
oh,
To which I'm like,
pissed.
you knew the game she was playing, so like she was gonna kiss somebody. But again, he was probably just mad because it's like, hold on, he's not your cousin, I am. What the fuck? So he's really mad, real jealous and shit. Lime green jello, like
Yeah,
from the
he's a
get-go.
because it's a like this is a newcomer and like he's attractive, so he's like, what is happening? Like he's not threatened by the other cousins and like all the fucking old men that are just running around, but sees Johnny Depp and he's like, no, thank you. He's
No, thank you.
pissed. Yeah.
So then Van Tassel is introduced to him. You know, he explains why he's there.
Hmm.
And everyone's like, all right, well then okay, you can stay, you can stay with us while you're here. Let's set you up in our spooky attic. Um,
Yeah.
looks almost like the kind of the attic that like Penguin lived in Batman Returns, you know? And he didn't set that bird free. He ate it.
It just looks like an attic room. You're on one with this bird.
What attic? What attic looks like that?
You've never seen like an attic that looks like a room?
I told you I don't go up in attics. I don't do
Oh
that.
yeah, you've always been like West Coast. So my room, this this is going way back. I don't think I've ever even told you this. So way back in the day
Please
when I
tell
was a
me about your
kid,
time in Puritan New England and the attics.
okay,
Please.
I grew up in New Jersey, not in New England. It still was new. And my mom, for a short time, her and a roommate rented this log cabin we lived in. And it had a like an not quite an attic, like a room like that, where it has stairs that go up to it, but the roof is, or like the ceiling, I should say, is like the roof. So it like angles down like that. And but it's like usable space. And that was my bedroom. And the only television station that came in was the sci-fi channel. And that explains a lot.
I love that. A
But there's
cabin in
rooms.
New Jersey. Are you fucking crazy?
It was in a very like busy populated area. Like it wasn't like in the woods or anything. There was a busy street right outside of it. So,
So like a
yeah.
log cabin, like just out like,
Yeah.
huh,
I mean, it's
I
like
love that.
woods everywhere. Yeah. So it was probably my favorite place that I lived. And there were a lot of dead animal bones in the yard. So I'd also find those and bring them in the house.
Why? Never mind. I don't know. So after Ichabod gets settled, he comes downstairs and meets with uh you know Papa Daddy Van Tassel, meets with the magistrate, meets with the doctor, the
Hmm.
notary, and the reverend.
Yeah. Like all the powerful men of the town.
Right. And Ichabod's like, so what's going on? And they're like, yeah, bro, it's the headless horseman. Um,
I love that. They don't even try to, they're just like, there's some fucking magic going on here.
I do how also like how later, like after I want to say the magistrate is killed, um, and Ichabod's like freaking out, being like, it was the headless horseman, and then like Van Tassel's just like, yeah, I know, it's what we said. Like,
Yeah. He's like, no,
what?
really, he's real. Like, you have to believe me. And he's like, I know. I like that they
Yeah,
flip that. Yeah, I like that they flip it. Like they're just having to convince one person instead of one person trying to convince everybody else.
right. And then this is where we are shared the headless horseman story.
I
Um,
love his story.
I do too. So this was a dual production between the United States and Germany. And I wonder like if that's why the decision was to make Christopher Walken's character German,
Maybe.
which I'm like, I don't know, why would you have like the mean ass fucking villain that just shows up and just likes chopping heads off? Like that was something he was doing in life. That wasn't like a cursed spirit thing that's compelling him to
No,
chop heads off.
he
He
was
was
down
doing
for
that.
it for fun, not even for pay. Like they were like, no one was even paying him. He was like, sign me up, put me in, coach. I'm ready to decapitate. Like, um, I'm in this. And he has that beautiful horse.
I don't remember this part when learning about the American Revolution, about this German dude that's going off just chopping heads off left and right. But maybe it's I don't know. It's like how maybe he's regarded as more of like a folk hero, maybe in some circles. It's like what's his name? Like Vlad the Impaler.
Mhm.
My understanding is that it depends who you ask. It's like, if you are in a place where he was taking over and murdering a bunch of people, they were like, oh, this dude is a maniac. He puts heads on stakes and does some wild shit. Where then maybe if you go to Romania, they're like, like,
It
yeah, I mean,
wasn't
he's
that
bringing us
bad.
freedom. I'm like, like literally, I remember like one tour guy was like, maybe he's a little colorful in his methods. And
Mhm.
I'm like, no, he was like heads on stakes and shit. But we learn about again his whole situation, the headless horseman
I
before he
like
becomes
his
headless.
backstory.
I do too. He's escaping, ultimately gets killed.
Mhm.
Go America, hell yeah.
Mhm. Love his filed down teeth. Like they had to bring that part up too.
I love that. His teeth look so good. His eyes look so good.
Yeah. Yeah, he
And
looks pretty fucking wild with that hair too. Like Christopher Walken is really selling it.
yeah, Christopher Walken's fucking great in this movie.
Yeah.
Industry legend, probably.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, of course.
I don't know how much horror he's in off the top of my head.
He's in a
But
Stephen King movie, and why am I not? I can't think of it off the top of my head.
oh, I can see the
Um,
VHS
you
cover.
see the VHS cover, right? I'm thinking of it too, and I
Don't worry about it,
can't.
everybody.
We'll figure it out. I'll
Don't
send it to
scream
the
at your
research
speakers.
team.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So, while he's escaping, you see the two little girls. You're gonna find out who those girls are later.
Mm-hmm.
I like how one girl just like fucking a petty little shit
I
is
know.
like,
She
I'm gonna
made that
snap this French.
decision. She made that decision quick. She was like, okay, I'm going to draw attention. I'm going to sell my soul to Satan. I'm
Literally
going to get
snap
my
decision,
revenge.
right?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah, and then also I'm gonna sell my soul to Satan and get revenge, which I'm also like, I sympathize with her. I do, and I'll
We'll
get
get
there
there.
later. So we've got this story about the headless horseman. And they're also like, hey man, if you want some answers, look at this fucking family tree. Here's how everyone's connected in town.
Hmm.
Which I'm like, literally, they're just giving you the answer.
Yeah.
And then I guess you're kind of understanding that Van Tassel is not involved in this. The other guys are. They know something that Van Tassel doesn't. Is that my understanding? They're in it with Lady Van Tassel.
Yes, because later on in the church, I think it's the doctor goes to like rat them all out. And that's when the
The Reverend
priest,
kills him.
yeah, the reverend like hits him on the head with that giant cross. So yeah, I don't think he was involved. I think he was completely innocent. I mean, as innocent as a man of that time could be.
Ichabod's like, guys, there's no fucking such thing as a fucking headless horseman. Like, I've been to New York, bruh. You ever been to New York, bruh? The five boroughs, bruh? People murder each other all the fucking time,
Yeah,
and it's not ghosts and goblins and shit. Like, that's just normal ass, just fucking people being fucking awful. So
ruthless.
he's like, I'm gonna solve your little mystery. We're gonna figure this out. I'm
Hmm.
gonna bring this shit to justice. Um, Not before at least there's going to be a few more casualties down the road, though. The first of which being the main servant to Van Garrett, which is Masbeth,
Oh,
Jonathan
Jonathan
Masbeth.
Masbeth. Yeah,
Poor guy, you know.
I know.
Well, he trying to like shoot at some deer or something. Is that what
No,
happened?
he was, I think he's like the guard. Like they have somebody guard at night.
Mm.
And so he was in that little like lookout.
That's also the challenge with this movie being overcast all the time because I don't know what is that evening or that morning or that
I know,
afternoon.
it's hard to tell. That was definitely nighttime though.
Okay.
Yeah.
So lo and behold, very quickly, he starts getting chased by the headless horseman. Does not make it very far. Head chopped off. Again, I think those are practical effects with those fake heads.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Those are just good head effects. I
Yeah.
love it.
The sound of them rolling on the ground also is really good.
Yeah, that is like some what do you call it? Like some like ASMR, Like
Yeah.
just to really like just chill me out, just the head just sounds of like heads rolling on soil and leaves, you know what I mean?
It's some fucked up ASMR.
But yeah, where's that ASMR YouTube video? Um, the next morning they find the body. And this is like most of the town's dudes go into the woods. They're investigating this body. Ichabod goes out there as well.
Mhm.
Turns out they've been moving around the body. He's like, bro, don't move around the body. But he could have explained why. He doesn't. But
I don't know that he fully knew.
though, with all of this forensic science he's doing, all the conclusions he comes to, everyone just nods and goes like, yeah, yeah, it's the headless horseman, bro.
Yeah, he has a
Like,
flaming hot blade. Like, this is all part of the story if you would have fucking listened.
yeah. You also learn that not only were the heads severed from the bodies, but the heads are just gone. Can't find the heads
Yeah.
for any of these
Yeah, it
people.
took them a while to share that information.
Right? He's going through this crime scene and he's like, oh, man, giant strides. It was a big ass horse. And then it goes and it
Mhm.
circles around and chops off the head and picks up the head and leaves with it. Okay. And then everyone's like, yeah, yeah, dude, you know, it's the headless horseman. That's what headless
They're
horsemen
like,
do.
he has a giant horse and a fucking hot sword. We told you.
We go over to Masbeth's funeral. This is when we're introduced to baby Masbeth. I think you see
Young
him
Macbeth.
briefly.
I love him.
Um, yeah, he's fine.
I
I
feel
mean, I
so bad
guess,
for him. He's like, what the fuck else am I gonna do with my life? Like, can I hang out with you? Like, can I be like your assistant? I almost said
yeah.
servant boy, but that sounded weird. Is your administrative assistant?
I mean, if his father is a servant man, then I guess he can be a servant boy. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I guess so. Yeah. But I mean, that's a pretty sweet situation because then he can go back to New York with him if he wants to.
Yeah, he's like, hey, let me join you. Like,
Mhm.
one, it's like I think I can be helpful. I've got nothing else to do. And then also, like, I mean, avenging my father's death wouldn't be the worst thing,
Mhm.
right? So it's kind of like, you've got yourself like a Batman and Robin situation,
Sure.
Um,
He knows a lot
right?
about the town too, and like all the townspeople, so he can fill in some of the gaps there.
I like how Ichabod's like, thanks, no thanks.
Yeah.
Sorry, little orphan boy. You go orphan on over that way.
Yeah.
Don't need you. Um, and then But then this is when also the magistrate offers the information to Johnny Depp, Ichabod Crane, that there are four graves, but there were five murders.
Ooh, scandal.
And so he's like, Johnny Depp's like, I gotta dig up some bodies. Ooh, orphan boy. Hey, hold on, come back here.
Not so fast.
Actually, how good are you with a shovel? I will actually make use of you. Um, I do think it's really interesting how Johnny Depp's like he has no problem just like getting into corpses and getting splattered with blood and stuff
Hmm.
like that. But then there's like other little things that like make him super queasy. Like not just bugs, but like also like some gore makes him very queasy. So it's just depends on the type of gore, I guess.
It seems like he's okay with gore that he has control over. So like his own like what do you call it? Like his own like premeditated gore, I guess you could call it, because he's like, okay, we got to dig up these bodies, we got to do some research. But if it just happens to him, then that startles him and causes him to faint, which happens way too many times in this movie. Like it gets less funny every time.
So of the people that were murdered, you have, well, geez, at this point, you've got Masbeth, you have
Mhm.
The father son of, Peter Van
Peter
Garrett.
Van Garrett and then Dirk Van Garrett
Right.
in the Widow Woodship.
And then Lady Winship. Right, right,
Mhm.
right. So he's like, all right, because I'm gonna start digging up all these bodies. I think would have put two and two together pretty quickly that
Right? Like just
she was
dig up
pregnant.
the widow first because what are the odds that like that's your solution? Like just get her out of there, check her out, and then if that's not the case, move to the next one. Like
Yeah,
we
he's
didn't
not
need
a
to
very
dig
good
everybody up.
detective.
Mm-mm.
He was just doing that. Yeah, just make it look cool and then just give the kid an extra workout. I don't know. So Ichabod and Baby Nesbit go over to the doctor's place, bringing all these bodies. Ichabod goes in, tells the doctor, "You need to get the fuck out of here. We got to cut up some bodies, and I don't like being watched." So they bring all these bodies in, but I mean, I guess he at least only cuts into the woman first, right? The widow.
Presumably, we don't know that for a fact, I don't think.
I wonder, so they don't show, like, they show, like, how there's the stab wound, right?
Yes,
In her stomach.
which should be even more obvious of what's going on.
Right. And then, so he cuts her open, blood spurts out, and there's a lot of blood that just spurts in his face throughout
I
this
love
movie.
I like that like ongoing joke. That's pretty fun.
Like I said, I feel like it's a bloodless movie, except for when it's kind of being used for laughs a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Also, like I said, they don't show the whole thing, but like he comes out and when he announces that, like, oh, she was with child, he's like covered
Yeah,
in
he's
blood.
just drenched.
Like, how old is this body? Should it be just gushing and spurting blood all over the place? And also, too, like I said,
Mhm.
I am not a doctor or a surgeon, so hey, grain of salt, right? But how much do you have to cut and like look inside to find that there is a fetus in there? Like, how deep do you have to go?
Okay, couple things here.
Okay.
The first thing being, I'm assuming that in this small village and in 1799, they weren't doing anything to preserve bodies. So
Okay,
you
true.
would you would think though either way that the blood wouldn't be so like gushy and liquidy. Like, wouldn't it dry up?
Pretty coagulated, you would
Yeah, I think
think, or like kind
yeah,
of
like
just
that it would coagulate. Exactly. Um, and then he would have to cut kind of far, especially if it was like early on, I think. He'd probably have to just cut her belly right open pretty far. But blood squirts in this movie. Like I think that's just how blood works
I guess so.
in this
I mean, don't
universe.
get me wrong. I'm not saying I don't appreciate it.
Yeah. But like when they like yell out like what did you do to her? Like that's a fair question.
So they cut to later on, and this is, well, you think this is the first time that Ichabod is directly targeted and attacked by the headless horseman. We find
Hmm.
out it's just Casper Van Dien fucking with him and his buddies, which is pretty funny. I do like this.
It is fun. Yeah. He did a good job on that costume.
I think so too. That
It's
was
almost as
great.
good as Tim Meadows in Hubie Halloween.
Yeah. um, he gets knocked out. I thought it was pretty good. His like flaming pumpkin handling was pretty good. That was a straight shot right through his head.
All of it. All of it was good.
Sounds
Good
like that
prank.
fucking hurt.
Yeah. Good prank, mean prank.
He falls to the ground, and I believe this is when we get our first dream sequence of creepy Johnny Depp child.
I think they did a good job of casting that kid. He kind of gives me like creepy Johnny Depp vibes, but like I'm glad this is our first appearance of his mom because like obviously there's some witchy shit going on, but also like why are they making his mom so hot and like sexy? Like what is or is it just me? Like I feel like they're really like sexualizing his mom.
Well, one, I believe that was Tim Burton's wife or the woman he was dating at the time. She was in a number of his movies, like had
Oh.
small parts, until they split up and he started dating and then marrying Helena Bonham Carter, and then she
Hmm.
started showing up in all of
In
his
every
movies
movie,
too.
yeah.
Um, I wasn't sure if it was, I don't know, usually like witches, or at least at first portrayed as like super hot, pretty, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, kind of, I don't know. But he has this, the first of like maybe like three or four
Yeah. Thanks.
recurring dreams. You do find out that not like she was necessarily practicing witchcraft, but it was like a spiritual, more I don't know, would you call it pagan, you know?
I don't know. Like, I feel
Like
like when they show her like later on, like literally flying and like twirling in the air, I thought that that was like actually happening. Like she is a badass, like witch bitch kind of situation.
she might be, is she not?
No, I think she is.
So we're back at the house. Katrina can't sleep. She's been awake.
Mhm.
And then, again, she kind of reiterates like everyone's related to everybody here. Good luck, I guess. you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like if that's your lead is that someone is got to be connected to Van Garrett in some way. It's like, well, look at the fucking tree, man. That's a shit ton of branches. Better
Hmm.
start, narrowing it down. She also talks about her family's personal history with the Van
Hmm.
Garretts, right? Where her family came, either when she was very, very, very young or before she was born. Her family, the what are they called?
Van
Von T.
Tassel.
Van Tassel. That's it.
Hmm.
Jesus. I was gonna say Von Tariff. Whatever. Um,
You also said, what did you say? Nisbet and it's Mazbeth?
not sure. Thanks for not stopping me.
No, I just let you go.
Yeah. So the Van Tassels were gifted a cottage, and then fucking Papa Van Tassel did such a great job appeasing Peter Van Garrett that they started accumulating their wealth that way, were able to build that beautiful house that they all have their weird blindfold kissing parties in, and then telling the story of just like, yeah, I mean, like this dude just gifted us all of this and has gifted
Hmm.
all of the town everything to some degree, right?
Hmm.
Let me show you my cottage.
Yeah,
And Ichabod at this point, he's like, we can take a detour right now. I mean, this is basically work related. I
it's
think I can
important.
I think I can log these hours.
Yeah.
You know, it's all part of it.
Which brings me to ask, how old do we think Katrina is supposed to be?
Like Christina Ricci is older than I think she's supposed to be playing, but like I
I
wouldn't be
thought so
surprised if
too.
she's supposed to be like 15, 16.
Yeah, like she's supposed to be like a teenager, right?
If it was like period specific, yeah, she'd be like
Yeah.
12 to 14 or something. And
Yeah.
he'd be like
I'm thinking she's
25,
like
30.
anywhere from 16 to 19. And he's definitely, I think Johnny Depp was in his like early 30s playing this role.
Yeah.
I was
So
just curious.
they go and visit this cottage that's in the woods, or right
Mhm.
outside the woods at least. And it's pretty dilapidated at this point, like there's, kind of the chimney left and, maybe
Mhm.
some of the bricks from the walls that were there. And she's like, what do you think? Hey, here's where I'm from. And see, rags to riches. We did it. She looks around, sees kind of what's left. She sees that carving of an archer. She's like, I
Mhm.
don't know how that got there. Whatever. No need
Yeah.
to think about it. Let's keep
Yeah.
going. And then also, I think this is when she sees all of the markings on Ichabod's hands.
Those little dots.
And he goes, I don't know how I got these actually. Who
Yeah.
knows? Right? I don't think he
He
remembers.
says he's had them as long as he can remember.
And I believe that he doesn't remember all of this trauma, right? And
Yeah, I
and
agree.
this I don't remember exactly how, if you could, I don't know if you know, but like, is it just this whole situation, maybe just getting knocked in the head by a pumpkin too many times, or being under the spell allegedly that Christina Ricci's been like putting him under this whole time? Like, does this just
I
unlock these memories for
I
him?
have a theory, and this is not
Uh-huh.
based off of anything that like I've read or any interviews or anything like that, but when I watched it this last time, I think that all of this experience brings up all the trauma from his past, But how that like translates is so he has that little thing that has the bird, the optical illusion little toy thing that his mother gave him. So that thing is just science, well, to say it like simply. So he has that thing from her, and that's like the thing he remembers. So, of course, he becomes a detective and has to find logic and reason to everything. But then he's put into Sleepy Hollow. There's all this spooky shit going on. There's a headless horseman, there's witches, and it's bringing up all of those memories through his dreams. So, as things happen to him in the movie, like traumatic things, that triggers a dream about his mom. And then I think it's right when he figures out that, which is like right before he solves the mystery or after I think it's right before he solves the mystery, he has that final dream where he like sees how his mom was murdered. But
Right.
yeah, so that's how I interpreted his whole journey.
Maybe I just give people from 1799 too much credit, even the small town folk, because when he shows um Katrina that
Mhm.
little spinning thing, and she's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, and you know magic, mister."
Yeah.
You're like,
You wouldn't
"Fucking
think that's
idiot, come on."
magic.
Like that's kind of dumb for you. Like,
Yeah. So they teach you that trick in elementary school. I remember learning it. They have like the books that you like flip the pages and it shows like a little guy like running and stuff.
oh, you mean like the bottom corners of Animorphs books?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know they took those out in reprints. They don't do
That's
that anymore.
that's they can get fucked, whoever
They
decided to
can
reprint them that way.
absolutely can get fucked. Um, so back in the town, um, our men, the notary, Van Tassel, the Reverend, the magistrate, whoever else, the doctor, you see them all arguing. Ichabod sees it, doesn't know exactly what they're
Hmm.
arguing about. And then it looks like the magistrate grabs, Phillips is his name, grabs his bag and just is fucking bolting and just taking off. He gets on
Hmm.
his horse and his carriage and he's taking off, right? Um, Now Ichabod follows him and intercepts.
Hmm.
Um, this is a fun death. Love it. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, it's a beheading like all the rest of them, but
Yeah. He knows it's coming like soon.
oh, he knows absolutely
Yeah.
knows it's coming. And
So much worse.
and man, you thought fucking last night was gonna give him bad dreams. God damn, when Ichabod sees him just head get straight fucking, lobbed off. Then he
Ooh,
comes back and fucking takes it. And again, I love just all the heads and all the faces they've made.
I
Just
know.
the faces of fright and shit. I love it.
This is the one that rolls in between his legs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so much worse too. If you saw that sword coming towards your dick, oh my God. So
It's
stressful.
also important that Ichabod Crane was trying to ask him, like, who is this baby daddy? Who,
Hmm. Might as well. What do you have to lose? Like you're going to be murdered. I guess he has his head to lose, but like
yeah.
it's gonna happen either way.
Yeah, it seems like, yeah, every time Ichabod gets one of these dreams, it is some sort of trauma. It's
Hmm.
either like getting smashed in the head with a pumpkin or this happening to him and
Hmm.
him passing out, or when he is stabbed later and gets into that wild fever.
Yes.
I think that's when he has his most revealing dreams. So that
Yeah.
makes sense. Um, Now the second one is of his mother dancing in the woods.
Hmm.
Um, I think maybe at this point you see the dad who maybe is also like starting to suspect, like, hey, what the fuck are you up to? Um,
Yeah, he points out her like her little doodles like
mhm.
in the dirt in front of the fireplace. Can you imagine like just making a cute little doodle and just being accused of being a witch and murdered for it? That's terrible. But I think it cuts off right there. Like it doesn't show her death or anything. Like it shows him catching her with the little doodles and then you see that long hallway with the red door that leads into a torture room that they just conveniently have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ichabod wakes up, back comes to, And like we were talking about earlier, now it's that kind of flip scene where he's
Hmm.
just flipping out, being like,
I
no, no,
love
no, no,
it.
no. It was a headless horseman. I love again how Van Tassel's like, yeah, dude, I know that like that's what we said.
Yeah. His tone is so good too. He's like, we know.
Yeah, we know. Of course it's true. Everyone told you.
Yeah. We were all
I
bought
love
into
that.
this.
I forget exactly what happens in between this, but I do know that then he does get this like rejuvenated sense of like, you know what? I'm gonna go toe to toe with this goddamn ghost.
Yeah, he
Don't
does.
even worry about like I'm prepared ish. Who's with me? Obviously nobody wants to go,
No, yeah, no one wants to go.
but little Nesbit, right? He's like, I'll go with you.
Mazbeth.
I know, I'm just saying on purpose now. Um, who leads them to this witch's hut, cave,
I thought
house,
that they just
cottage?
I thought that they just happened upon it.
Do they? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
I
the,
I love that he uses Mazbeth as a shield.
I wrote that in my notes. I love that he just pushes him
He's
in
just putting
front.
the child in front of him.
It's an orphan, Natalie, who's gonna shed a tear.
I have definitely used my son as a shield before as well.
100%. They come in here, they go inside this cottage, and you find this woman. You think this is clearly a witch because
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
got a veil, you're not seeing
Real
shit.
witchy.
Yeah, she's cutting off bats' heads, making bat blood
Aw,
concoctions.
I know.
I
Poor
know.
bat. I did
I
not
know
like
that poor
that.
bat. I don't know why she needs to be doing all of this in order to give him directions to this death tree. Or maybe she's
Hmm.
just doing it just because, like, no, I'm like, you're not going to interrupt me. I'm just still doing my business.
Perhaps.
For me, I think it would just be hard because, like, if someone screams in my face, I don't really always remember what the words are. So if even someone's trying to help me, if you fucking are screaming in my face, and I'm
Um,
gonna be really embarrassed to like ask, like, hey, hold on, what was that last turn you needed to do?
but
Like, please help
also
me.
her face looks like a weird ghost monster too. So that doesn't help anybody remember directions. Some rough CGI on that one too.
Always the challenge, especially when you have good practical effects. The bad
Yeah,
CGI is always going to look worse in comparison.
that didn't age
Um,
well.
no, it doesn't age well at all.
They didn't need it
So,
either.
but she does give him important information where to
Mhm.
find the grave of this Hessen.
Yes.
Um, yeah, headless horseman.
Hmm.
So they make their way there. Katrina follows,
Hmm.
and
Looking
this is his
gorgeous on
love
that
language.
horse.
Yeah, looking great on
Yeah.
that horse. This is his love language because he is just so enamored, being like, "You came, you braved
Yeah.
this to be with me,
Yeah.
to follow me on my little adventure." Masbeth's just like playing short round in the situation, right? Just being like, no time for love here, y'all.
This
Come on.
fucking cock block extraordinaire couldn't give them 2 seconds.
I wouldn't.
Let
I'd
them
be
make
like,
out a little bit. No, I'd pause and I'd be like, all right, the tree's gonna be there. Let them have their little kiss, and then be like, hey, y'all, come see this tree.
my father's head was decapitated. Um,
And you're
I
making out in
am
the
orphaned.
woods.
We're at a tree that is bleeding blood.
I guess I didn't think about it from Masbeth's perspective.
Yeah, like y'all need to like, no, I got no time for this.
Okay, I guess his cock blockery is justified.
So they see the tree of the dead. Johnny Depp notices that it's bleeding. He's like, let me hack at it and
I
just
love the
continue to do this.
tree.
I do. I love that tree as well. Um, I thought it was fucking awesome that he like carves off like this bark, pulls it back, and it's all the heads.
Oh, I love it. There's just so much blood. Yeah, just all the heads in there. Oh, yeah. Though everything about the tree is really, really fun and spooky and cool.
This movie does take a few leaps just to get the plot going, where like I get it, he's a detective, but then also it's he's pretty quick to assume like he's collecting all the heads until he's returned.
Hmm.
This is a gateway to hell.
Mhm.
Clearly, and I think he's like, the head's missing. We need to get the head back. And I think even shortly after, like unprompted, he's just like, nope, someone's actually controlling him and has the head. We need to bring the head back. He just comes up with all of that like on his own.
Yeah, that's pretty creative. I do. Well, doesn't he come to that conclusion though? Because you see the horseman jump on the horse out of the tree, which also is really fun and cool.
Mhm.
Um, but he sees that happen, and like the horseman, I mean, would have seen is strong words, but like he would have noticed them there on the tree. So why wouldn't he have attacked them? And that's like the third time that Johnny Depp wasn't attacked by him when he was around, or maybe this is only the second time at this point. So maybe he's concluding like, oh, he's on a mission. Like, why? And then if the head's missing, he just comes to that conclusion because he knows witchy stuff. It's somewhere deep down.
I still think that takes some luck. Um,
I thought I did a great job there. Thank you.
the headless horseman rides off, and is going straight into town, actually to the midwife's house.
Fun.
I'm always gonna give a half a boo if you give me some child death.
Does he kill the kid? I wasn't
I think
sure.
so. You
They
never see the
imply it,
kid.
right?
They imply it. They don't show it. So a
Yeah,
half a
you
boo
hear
at
him
best.
scream.
Yeah.
But I mean, if he didn't kill him, that kid would have lit the place on fire because how old is he? Lighting fucking candles? I know that this is 1799 and we don't have a light switch to flip, but that stressed me out. That young child holding, I don't even, my son is 9. He's not fucking with matches or a lighter. That was the most stressful and scary part of this movie.
Headless horseman does kill all three of them, I think. Because it's
I think
definitely
he
implied
does.
that the kid's
Yeah,
dead.
yeah. Because he sees them, he grabs them, you hear screaming, and then the next shot is him tying up that bag, like his little drawstring bag, and like flipping it onto the horse. So I feel like that's pretty heavily implied.
And all that midwife needed to do was just keep her fucking mouth shut.
I
She
know, like
starts
were you
repeating it out around
gossiping?
her husband. And even that's when Lady Van Tassel at the end is just like, yeah, then she started saying it all over to her family. So I'm like, I guess we have to kill all of you now.
Yeah, idiot. Like that's what you get for being a gossip.
It's what you get for being a gossip.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Casper Van Dien is on high alert with his pals.
Mm-hmm. Looking hot.
Yeah, just looking great. Does not, I guess, didn't even notice the horsemen come through town. Or no, maybe didn't he like go right through them? I forget exactly. Don't mind me.
I don't remember. He must just fly right past them.
But Casper does see, him throw like the bag of heads over his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And and again, that's where it's like demonstrating where like the horseman like does not want to fucking kill Casper Van Dien. He does not care. So every
No.
time, and I think that's really kind of this evil, malevolent force that Casper Van Dien keeps trying to fight
He
him.
could
And
have
he's just
killed
like,
him instantly. He just wants to stop
yeah,
him and push him out of the way, but he's just insistent upon attacking him because he's doing that whole tough guy frat boy before they even existed like thing where he wants to be the one to stop him.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Ichabod is able to catch up at this point. And then you have like a little bit of it's kind of fun, a little bit of that three-way fight
Yeah.
between, Ichabod, Brahm,
Brom.
and right, thank you.
Mhm.
Now, what I wonder though is that the horseman does change his mind. Like after they've already decided, like, hey, we can't kill him. We need to fucking get out of here. Let's go. So Brahm and Ichabod start running off. And
No,
then
Brom is still attacking him. They're under the bridge or like in that little hut bridge Beetlejuice looking thing.
and once they get to
And
the other end, it drops down. And it's just like, I'm still here, motherfuckers. Let's fight. And then that's when he kills Brahm.
oh, I guess then at that point Brom would have been defending himself. But I mean like Brom, this is a
Yeah.
classic definition of fuck around and find out. Like you could have just let him go. What are you going to do to a guy that doesn't have a head? Like come on.
Now, the also key difference with Brahm's death is that He's not decapitated. He is cut like right in half though, like through the
It's
abdomen.
like the middle of his body. I thought it was his head the first time.
And the headless horseman does not take his head either.
He didn't need it.
So that's also a key difference, which I'm like, I thought that was his whole MO, whether like just, I don't know. Where he's like, why does he put only certain people deserve the head kill and they get the heads? I thought he'd just
Mhm.
be taking heads anyway, just because that's his whole MO, right?
Well,
Mm-hmm.
this could be a stretch, but homegirl, Lady Van Tassel, she openly says that she like sold her soul in order to like make this whole thing happen. Maybe when she summons him to kill someone, the taking of the head is like representative of taking their souls to hell as well. And Brahm didn't deserve that. He was just like, "You want to fight? Okay." I got all kinds of theories.
I love it. Um,
Making
before I
shit
men
up.
before I move on, I did think it was pretty funny how after the midwife's husband is killed, she hides the kid under the
Mm.
floorboards, and the horseman makes his way into the room where she is. I guess because he's headless, she thinks if she just stands still, like I don't think it works the same for headless horsemen as it does for like a T-Rex, you know?
Yeah, I wondered about that too, because she does just kind of sit in the corner, like she doesn't try to run or anything, but that could just be like out of fear and shock.
I
She's
guess
holding
so.
her husband's head.
Yeah. Because I was like thinking like he's gotta be able to see somehow. But I get where
He's
she's
like
coming from. She's like, well, he doesn't have a head, so maybe if I just stand still,
and it's like
yeah,
sonar, like a
I'm all
bat.
right. A little bit, maybe.
Could be.
Ichabod deduces, yeah, someone's controlling
Mm-hmm.
this thing. And he has another fever dream. This time, he finds his mother in that torture device. And you do find
That's
out, I think that's when he finds it when he gets his it's him like
mm-hmm.
touching it and it's all like spiked and shit. And that's how he
Well,
gets the
no,
markings on his hand.
she's in the Iron Maiden, and then he opens it, and all the blood, I'm assuming, is maybe just his like fantastical child memory. And then he like backs up onto a really pokey chair that I don't think anyone would want to sit in. And that's where he puts his hands down on that thing. Yeah, that'd be pretty traumatic.
He wakes up to Katrina, who's been by his side most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he's like, "Hey, sorry about Brahm," and she's like, "Who?"
She's like, that's what I said. She said, eh. She's
Oh,
like,
she's
I
like,
shed a couple tears.
"I'm not
Sad,
heartbroken."
sad for his family, but you know what? I'm single now, baby. No more cousins for me.
Right.
The bar is so low.
Yeah, she is very clear, like, "Oh no, 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 I'm good. Don't even
Yeah.
worry about it."
She's like, I'm still down.
This is when he recovers, he starts feeling super reinvigorated. And he's like,
Yeah.
okay, so I'm getting it kind of mixed up. That's what
Yeah, yeah.
happens. It's been a minute since I've seen the movie and took notes, but he's like, let's fucking go. Let's do it.
Oh, because this time he's like, we're looking for like a flesh and blood, like human being, like that's controlling this thing. That's why he's all fired up because he's like, I can catch a human.
Right. I
Although
can't
he
stop a
doesn't seem
headless
like he can
horseman.
fight. Like, and all these people in this town, like they'll fuck you up. Lady Van Tassel, don't fuck with her.
He still, also surmises that it's got to be someone connected to this family tree at some point. And it's like, I don't know. Do we just start narrowing fucking just
Mhm.
everybody in fucking town? I don't know. But they're like, let's get off to the notary because his name's all over this shit too.
Mhm.
Um, they go to the notary again. Love Michael Goff. It's awesome. And then they find the will,
Yeah.
which also signed by Jonathan Masbeth,
Mhm.
right?
He was a witness.
And they find that in this will that has at this point been secret to everybody that all right, getting this online, when Van Garrett did impregnate this widow,
Mhm.
he changed his will to make sure everything went to at least the child,
Well,
but
he
I think
married
her and the
her.
child. Right. Oh yeah, in the
They
secret
got married in
marriage, right.
secret. Yeah, so that's where the reverend is involved, right?
Right.
Yeah, so they got secretly married and then he leaves everything to the widow Winship, which would then leave everything to the unborn child too, which is responsible of him.
I think so.
Yeah.
That is now implicates everybody in that group being connected to this secret
Hmm.
in some way whatsoever. I did like how the notary was like hiding in a closet. He's like, get away
Yeah.
from here.
Yeah, he's like, let me just stay in my closet.
Yeah, let me just hang out here and hide. Um, I think this is when also he surmises like it's Van Tassel. It's got to be.
Yeah, he thinks then that it's Katrina's father.
And he's got it all in his notes. They get home, they put the notes away, of course. She's like, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, nothing. Just
Yeah.
learn some stuff. Don't even worry about it. She's like, anything important to the case? And he's like, maybe.
Yeah.
Don't look in this drawer
Just
that's not
being all
locked.
secretive all of a sudden.
I'm gonna leave now. Because I think at this point, like, like he had some other notes, or right, because he was writing down kind of his theories and then wrote down like basically everything's pointing to Van Tassel right now.
Yeah, and
Let's go
Katrina
to the notary. Yeah.
Katrina shares that her father said that he should leave. And
Because he
and
saw
sh
those
yeah,
notes and
just
was
like
like,
why?
yeah,
Just
you
like
should get the
maybe
fuck
he
out of
didn't
my house.
like just leaving your fucking journal open.
Yeah, dude, if you're gonna accuse the person who's like letting you stay in his attic, like
Yeah.
I would keep that shit like
Close your
in
book.
my pocket.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
close your book. Don't leave the book just wide
just
fucking
close
open.
it. So start there.
He also finds the evil eye drawing under his bed
Hmm.
in that kind of pinkish magenta chalk
Hmm.
that you'll learn later is what's her face doing it?
Yeah.
Katrina.
And it's protection.
It's a
What
protection spell. Yeah.
makes me mad at Masbeth again because he's just talking all this shit like he knows what it means, like
Love it.
saying that it like someone is seeking to do him harm. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. What's your source? Like, did you hear about this somewhere? Did you read about it somewhere? He's just coming up with shit. I did not like that.
Later, Ichabod sees a mysterious figure go into the woods. And he's like, this is a little weird. Let me follow this. Let me see what's going on. Tracks it for a while. And then you see Lady Van Tassel
Oh,
getting into some business in the woods with someone you don't know yet. You're going to find out it's the Reverend.
I thought they show his face like towards the end when
I don't think
she
so.
cuts her hand and because he licks the blood off of her hand.
Yeah,
So you
but they
kind of see
show
part
that
of
when
his
they cut
face.
back to it later.
Oh, they don't show it in that moment?
I don't think so. Not the first time you see it, but
Oh,
then when they putting
okay.
it all together at the end, they show him.
Okay.
Because that's when it's the reveal, like, oh yeah, it was everybody, and this is, for him it was lust, and for
Hmm.
the other dude it was also lust and fucking around. you know. Yeah, and then this is when she makes that cut in her hand, right? And she's
Hmm.
like bleeding from it. So you're just like, okay, that's some like blood sacrifice,
Suspicious.
self-harm stuff. Like that's a little I don't want to say necessarily witchy. I don't know, but
It's
like
unusual, that's for
probably,
sure, and
yeah, not
not of the
healthy.
norm. Yeah.
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 So they get back to the house with this new information. All of his notes are missing,
Yeah.
and fucking Katrina destroyed all of them.
That she's out of pocket.
Super out of pocket. Which don't get me wrong. I mean, I guess for me, I'd be like, like it's all up here. I can just like write all that down again. Like you don't like,
Yeah, that's true. It's not like it was like hard evidence.
yeah, you just like wasted a book. I mean, like that
Yeah.
witch's house there in the woods
It was
still,
a
and
nice book.
yeah. So what the
Like you're gonna
fuck?
reimburse me.
Of course, she's super pissed because she's like, even if my dad's guilty, the fact that you're accusing my dad means I don't like you anymore. You know?
But she also says, she takes it even a step further and says, like, I don't think that you ever even cared for me. if you are accusing my dad. And I'm like, that
Oh my
that seems
gosh.
like a stretch. Like you're being a little sensitive here. Like you can still accuse someone's dad of murder and still be in a relationship with them.
Geez, at this point, Lady Van Tassel does confront Ichabod later on and being like, just having some casual conversation, being like, so, and she knows that he saw her in the woods, right?
Oh
So she's
yeah.
like, you're not asking me how I got my scars.
I
Why don't you
love
ask?
I love her energy
Me
in
too.
this scene. It's so intimidating. Like I would be terrified if I were him,
I think this is probably the best scene she gets.
for sure. Yeah.
I mean, like at the end when she's doing her whole like kind of ghost face reveal, like, this
Yeah.
is how I did it and
No,
why.
this is
Like,
more
this is a better
understated
one.
because she could still be like not the main villain and be up to no good, which is kind of fun. And how she like switches tone as soon as her husband comes in and he asks what happened to her hand. Like it's really good.
So she does confront him. When Van Tassel asks, she says, man, I slipped on a knife. Ugh,
Mhm.
oopsies,
Whoopsie daisy.
and then tells Ichabod, like, don't tell anyone what's going on
Hmm.
right now. Which he's like, I guess he honors. He's like, all right, I guess.
I
That's
mean,
if you're
like,
just doing some
what
normal weird shit. Like if that doesn't have anything to do with the murders,
if it doesn't have to do with the murders? Yeah, he's like, it's
I
fine.
don't
I'll keep your
care.
secret. Yeah.
Yeah, y'all are fucking weird.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, poor notary. He didn't make it too much longer because he's fucking
No.
dead.
Yeah.
Um, and I think it's maybe Van Tassel that lets him know, like, hey man, the notary's dead. By the way, everyone in town's gonna meet tonight and they're fucking pissed at you. I think they think you're doing this. Or I think they're just prepared to blame you.
Yeah, it's just we need somebody to blame.
Yeah. So if you want to leave, you can. Um so geez, it cuts out like pretty quick, just I guess the next scene over to like when everyone's gathering at this church.
Hmm.
Um the headless horseman does show up, but that's after chasing Van Tassel, who shows up and says, Lady Van Tassel's dead now.
Hmm.
None of you see it. I don't even know if I saw it.
He didn't see it, that's for fucking sure.
Yeah.
He's like, oh no, my wife is dead, I think.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess I don't want to stick
Coward.
around and like make sure
Well, I mean,
if
if you didn't
I
see
don't know.
it, like he wouldn't have seen her head get cut off, even. Like he rode that horse away and just left her in the flowers to be beheaded because she has to do a whole body switch.
And I'm just thinking if I'm just some normal dude, if I'm just like the grocer in town or like the town fucking who's the dude
Cobbler.
that yeah, I was gonna say who's the dude that makes shoes, the
Oh, is that what
cobbler.
you're gonna say? Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, why are you bringing that here, dude? Like why you got
Yeah.
to do this? Because he was, and then like the horseman's like running right after him. So
Oh,
everyone's like, oh
yeah.
fuck, we got to go inside right now. They just start barricading the doors. They're lucky of all the buildings they're in, it's a church
Oh,
because
yeah. Hmm.
he's like,
Oh, yeah.
Jesus.
I guess this is where the Christianity holds some power.
He's just circling around him. Like I said, I just feel bad for everybody else in there. That's like, fuck.
Yeah, we're
I
just
just,
stuck in here.
I just wanted something to do on a Tuesday night. I like civic engagement. Why why is this happening to us? You know, like I had, you know, I
Came to
was
this meeting.
baptized here. Yeah, like what's going on? But they're busting out windows, everyone that came armed, which was quite a lot of people.
Yeah.
And they start trying to shoot at the horseman. It's not working.
Mm-mm.
Um, I do love how he kills Van Tassel, though. It is pretty
Ah, it's
funny.
so good because he's like just thinking like, okay, I can't behead him from here. How do I make this work? And he makes it work. What is that? It's like a piece of the fence that he
Yeah.
like attached to rope.
Either he like javelins it or like it's like a harpoon situation. I don't know.
And let's keep in mind, he's doing this all without eyes.
Yeah,
It's fucking
100%.
impressive.
It's super good. And fucking goes through him and then just yanks him right out. That was pretty good. Also the Reverend and Doctor are dead because I think the
Mhm.
doctor was about to fucking spill all the beans. The
Yeah.
Reverend says, ironically takes that cross and just beats him
I
across the
love
head
that.
with it and kills him. Um, and then that's when Van Tassel shoots and kills the Reverend.
Mm-hmm.
Skip that part. Sorry. So like all these
Yeah.
dudes that are, I think now all the dudes that are a part of this are all dead.
Like half the town is dead.
Yeah.
Who's left? The cobbler and the grocer?
Yeah. They're like, I guess I'm king of this town now. Damn it. Give me my little hat. He's like, fuck, man, that was my lead suspect. God damn it. All five of my lead suspects are dead. God
All
damn it.
gone.
Then he sees he turns to Katrina, who is in the aisle between the
Mm-hmm.
pews, and you see that she's drawing the same symbol that he saw under his bed.
She
So
goes
he
again.
again jumps to a conclusion. He's just like, oh, nope, she's trying to kill us. She must be the one. And by
Mm-hmm.
drawing this symbol, maybe that's what's bringing him this and this and this. I
Oof.
don't know, but maybe she's doing it. And also at this point, I'm okay with accusing her because she's been acting out of sorts the whole time. And if she's going to be shitty to him,
And now that she's broken up with him, yeah, he's like,
yeah.
what do I get out of this?
Yeah,
Like,
maybe you're the fucking killer. What's that
yeah,
fucking feel like? Fucking
trying to
jerk.
throw me off with your feminine wiles.
So all those dudes are dead. Um, the horseman leaves. The next morning, Katrina's still sleeping. Ichabod's like, I'm done, man. I'm getting the fuck out of here. We're
Yeah.
good.
Because he thinks
And
it's her and he doesn't want to accuse her. So he's just like, I'm just gonna
yeah,
leave this
he thinks
unsolved.
it's her and is like, I'm not gonna pursue this.
Mm-hmm.
He tries to tell himself like, oh, maybe she was possessed and that was
Mm-hmm.
compelling her to do this, and now
Mm-hmm.
maybe she's set free. Sure.
Yeah.
And fucking, little Masbeth's just like, the fuck?
He's
No,
like,
what?
yeah, he's like,
You
remember my dead dad?
yeah, he's and then Johnny Depp's just like, look, man, when you think you got a shot at a woman, um,
I'm not gonna accuse good pussy of murder. Are you kidding?
I think that was the line. I think they just
That's
edited
exactly what he
that.
said.
Yeah.
It's a deleted scene. I'm sorry. I can't help it.
He's like, so I'm gonna get out of here. Best of luck. Sorry, you're still an orphan. I'll see you later.
Oh, poor Mazbeth.
So yeah, Johnny Depp gets in his little carriage and start taking off. Um, what he does find, and it was the little book that was given to him by who?
By Katrina.
By Katrina, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
The
he
protection, or like the book that she said that would protect him from harm.
and it's a book of spells, and she opens it up,
Mm-hmm.
and then he sees, oh man, dumbass little orphan. That wasn't fucking a danger spell. That was a safety spell.
Could have
She's
taken
still
2 minutes to look in the book. It's like fact checking.
he is the adult, so it is on him
It
ultimately.
is. No, it is. Absolutely. Yeah.
Kids will say the darndest things, right?
Terrible move.
And then I don't remember, how does he realize that Lady Van Tassel isn't dead?
I don't know that he actually does. I think how things, you know?
Oh, she realizes when she comes to,
Mm-hmm.
and Van Tassel walks up and she's like, Lady Van Tassel walks up
Mm-hmm.
and she's like, oh, surprised much, and I think maybe she faints or she knocks Katrina out and then takes her
Yeah.
to that creepy old windmill.
Yeah, Katrina faints. I think that the only reason why Ichabod was going back was because he realized it wasn't Katrina. But I don't think he knew it was Lady Van Tassel. Like, I don't think he pieced those things together. But here's what I'm confused about. And I didn't think about this until the last time that I watched it. How does her faking her own death improve her chances of getting this inheritance? So, like, yes, it gets Ichabod off of her trail, but then, like, who is she answering to like inherit all of this? One, everybody in charge is dead. Two, like, if you're dead, you don't inherit shit. And if you're alive, you have some explaining to do. What's happening here? Do you know what I mean?
And then not to bring up, but just trying to bring up a, unfortunate gendered point of this, like it's going to be another 184 years before she's even allowed to have her own credit card.
Yeah,
So
or
like
yeah, like she's gonna have to
they're just going to
marry
give her all
someone
that money.
else. No, she's gonna have to marry somebody else. Like it's none of it makes sense. So I'm assuming she's just going rogue and she's just gonna start killing everybody and just take the whole town,
Might
perhaps.
as well. I mean, as long as she's got that skull, it's like just, just be like, yeah, just kill everybody. Who needs
Yeah,
him?
like what is she gonna do from there? She's gonna have to recruit a whole new group of white men to come and run this town.
Save the cobbler.
Save the cobbler. He's important.
I need some new shoes. So, Katrina comes to in the windmill. You see that Lady Van Tassel has the skull,
Hmm.
um, and is saying like, "Hey, here's your end. Get fucked. You're the last one." Because now Katrina at this point is set to get all of this money. They worked there all the
Yeah.
way down this tree that she's the
Hmm.
next and last in line at this
Yeah.
point, before Lady Van Tassel. So,
Hmm.
um, she's explaining all this backstory.
In the best dress in this entire movie, too. I had to shout that out. That outfit, because it looks like almost like a spider web, like over a silk dress. It is so good. She looks very witchy, very evil, very elegant. I love it.
I think that would be first. Number two is later on in the movie, and that's Christina Ricci's Beetlejuice dress.
Ah, yes, the striped dress. Yeah, both
That's a
of those
fun one.
dresses are so good. Yeah.
She's also calling the Headless Horseman to come and kill Katrina.
Hmm.
Um, she then explains, like, hey, remember that petty little shit that broke that branch in the very beginning of the movie?
That
That was
me.
me. That was your girl. Ayo, ayo, that was me. And
Yeah,
then
she gives you a whole backstory.
my sister, she just became straight up witch, but don't worry, I killed her.
I
Um,
know. That was so sad that she killed her sister. Why did she say she killed her again?
I don't remember.
She gave a reason that was like very like just quick.
Yeah.
Maybe because she helped Ichabod.
Yeah. And then maybe, yeah, the witch was just like, hey, maybe this is going like a little too far. Like, I've got a good situation out here. I have enough bat heads to keep me occupied. But yeah, maybe it is because she helped Ichabod.
Yeah.
Um, and then she explains like how, yeah, right, she sold her soul to the devil,
Mhm.
pretty like immediately after like
I
that whole
love
thing at the beginning with Christopher
love
Walken
it.
happened. She just
Hmm.
turns around, she's like, hey, Satan.
It's an opportunity for revenge.
And two, like she also explains, like, remember that cottage? Her name was Archer. Her actual family name was
Hmm.
Archer. That was their cottage. They get fucking
Hmm.
evicted. This is when I don't blame her. First of
Yeah.
all, fuck the rich, fuck landlords, fuck them all to fucking hell.
I know.
And
I just
to get sweet decapitation revenge against like a bunch of fucking elite fucks, I love that. So I don't blame her at all.
I don't blame her either, but that's a fucking long con. Like she grew up in the woods, married this man, or no, I'm sorry, not doesn't even start there. Took care of his sick, dying wife. Maybe she even killed her. Who knows? Then marries this man and then like is married to him for however long it's been and then starts her plot of revenge. Like that is a lifetime commitment of revenge. That shit is bonkers,
I'm surprised she didn't try to marry any like closer to the Van Garrett family, like a little more up the ladder, because you
right?
did have to kill quite a lot of people to
A
get.
lot of people.
Well, I guess you were also killing. I guess you have to kill that many people, but you do have to kill all the people that were witnesses. And I'm sure she probably had this plan, and then she's like ready to go, and then Van Garrett has this secret wedding and impregnates this woman, and
Yeah, I think everything
then
got all
probably
mixed up.
Lady Van Tassel's just like, the fuck, really? I gotta kill a baby? She's already in too deep. She's like, okay, I mean, I didn't want to do this. You're the one.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Adding to the body count.
And it was just a stab because but she wasn't showing. So I don't know if it's like a fetus was in like the shape of like a baby. But
Yeah,
so
at
Christopher
that
Walken didn't
point,
take like a little like walnut baby head, right?
I don't think so. It, so stupid. He, okay, that early in a pregnancy, I don't even know that he would need to stab her in the uterus. Like he was just doing that like as insurance, I guess, because just killing her would have been enough to kill the unborn
Yeah,
child. It's not a like a viable life in there. Like it's not making it out on two legs.
maybe I don't know. Crane arrives to save the day with his guy, with his little guy.
Nesbitt.
With Nesbitt, right? Um, then they rescue Katrina. Then they start escaping through the windmill. They start going up, right? Because the headless horseman's coming after them. They start making their way up through the roof. He's got an idea. He's like, let's just set this bitch up,
I love it.
light it up. We'll hop on out. Don't even
He's
worry,
very
dipshit's gonna.
creative.
It is very creative.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, when you're working with like an undead, satanic, malevolent force, like he's like he's like fucking Bane, right? He's like, I was born from this, man. Like fire. What? That's
Yeah.
like that's like giving me like a nice like warm bath, you know? Like thank you. Thank you. I was getting a little chilly
Bathe in
sleeping under that
fire.
tree. Thank you. Um So, like I said, he's not dead. So he's just like, I'm
No.
coming out. He's like, don't worry, man. I feel good. I'm coming out for you. Don't
Yeah.
even worry. But now I'm a little angry. And
Oh,
now
he's
being told
pissed.
specifically, I'm gonna kill fucking all of you. So
Oh yeah.
let's go. Um Now they get through the woods. This is when you have your big chase sequence.
I
Um
I have to say
it's
this is the one part of the movie that I think drags a little bit long. Like the carriage chase did not need to be so long.
oh yeah, definitely. The second time I watched it, I just fast forwarded through it. I was like, you okay, you get it.
Yeah, like I think I like kind of spaced out like during the second watch of the carriage situation. Like 'cause the first time I watched it, I was like, okay, I need to remember what happens here, but it's very long.
Yeah, Tim Burton, and even like having like the Batman movies under his belt is not a very good action director, I don't think, by any means.
No, I agree with that.
So it feels just a little just whatever throwaway. But they are able to escape the headless horseman, but they are stopped by Lady Van Tassel, who shoots Crane dead,
Hmm.
or at least you
You
think,
think
right?
so?
But bullets are just weak as fuck in 1799 because a little ass notebook can stop that.
I mean,
Um,
it was a like a hardcover book,
I guess so. It was like it
a
was a
good
leather
200
bound,
pages.
right?
Yeah.
That's maybe. I didn't count.
It looked about that thick.
Lady Van Tassel's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you, Katrina. Let's fucking go. But then that's why you keep the orphan with you, because he comes and saves the day, at least a little bit,
Hmm.
knocks Van Tassel out, is able then Crane, who you find out is still alive. Do you like how I'm summarizing all this?
Yeah, this is
He's
great.
still alive, riveting. He's like, give me that fucking head,
Yeah,
give
he
it to me
knows.
now. And then he throws it right to the headless horseman, who's arrived at this point.
I'm so glad that that works because I feel like that was really could have just made him more powerful and just as angry.
That was a dice roll, right? I'm like, hold
Uh-huh.
on. I thought you need to bring the skull back to the skeleton, not give it his own head.
Ooh, yeah, like return it to the grave.
I thought that was the whole thing. So when he throws, I'm like, yeah, when he throws the head to the headless horseman, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing,
That was
bro?
a gamble.
That was a
Yeah.
gamble. But
Hmm.
then it pays off because he just
Yeah.
becomes Christopher Walken again,
Scary
sniffs
Christopher
around,
Walken.
you know, does his little, rah, rah,
But
That's the only sound he
he's
makes.
so happy to see his horse, which is really cute.
Oh, it was a happy rah.
Yeah, because he has to see his horse get murdered in the backstory, and then he sees that his like he can like pet his horse and like snuggle with it again. That was cute.
I do love that. I do love the relationship between a man and his horse.
That is a gorgeous horse too. Big
I
ass horse.
You ever play Red Dead Redemption?
No.
Oh, it's so
I've
good.
seen it
The
though.
this and the sequel is one of the greatest things I've ever experienced in my life. And I had the most beautiful, lovely horse that accidentally walked off the cliff. And his name was Amigo del Mundo. And I loved him.
I mean, obviously not enough. You didn't take good care of him.
I swear to God, I was like, picking up some like rabbit skins or something, like I don't know, trying to pick some wildflowers, and I turn around and I'm like, bro, you're like halfway off this cliff. I walk over and try to get on him, but accidentally, I don't think I pushed him.
I would not trust you with a real horse based off of this story.
I don't trust me either. That's
I
why I
had
don't.
horses growing up.
Oh,
They need to
really?
stay enclosed. Like they will
Not
just
near cliffs?
they'll just go. They're fucking wild animals.
No, it's what about cowboy time horses?
Well, yeah, like I mean you tie them to things
Hmm.
if they're not enclosed.
So, as I was saying, headless horseman's just horseman now.
Yes. He's
Yeah,
just horseman. And now he gets to take revenge.
you're my girlfriend now.
Ooh.
Come over here. Let me give you one of my little pokey teeth kisses.
Oh, that was not a kiss. Like it started as a kiss, but he must have been chewing on her tongue or something
I don't like that
with his
one
little
bit.
nibblers. Just
And it, and then he takes her against her will and then rides into this tree of death into the portal to hell. Or at least to the other side, but to hell.
yeah, she's fucked now.
Yeah, and again, it still bums me out because I do get where she's coming from, and I like her energy, and I like
Same.
her long con to fuck up the elites in this cousin fucking town, you know? And that's where I'd be like, okay, fine. She doesn't get to live, fine. But she gets to go to heaven though. It's like, look, okay, hey, can't we just meet in the middle? Because like I still think it was a virtuous
No, no, no. Kyle, you don't get to go to heaven when you sell your soul to Satan. No matter who wronged you or what the circumstances are, you sold your soul. You made a blood oath. You offered your soul to hell. So she had the power because she had the skull. As soon as you lose that skull, it's time to cash in. Like Satan's coming for you, coming in hot,
I think
pun
Satan would
intended.
understand,
No, he would
right?
not.
Hmm.
But the horseman is like now, I guess like a courier for him. Just
Yeah.
takes her right down to hell.
The sun finally fucking comes out through the
Yeah, so
course of this
was it
movie.
just hazy because of this like these dark happenings?
I guess so. And I guess it was also overcast in New York too because of it. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
But the
Maybe
sun's
just
out and they're like,
spring.
oh, we solved the day. You solved the case, I guess. Uh what do y'all want to do? I've got two orphans at at my steed now.
Yeah,
Because
and
her family is dead.
yeah, there's no one else living in the town, so they might as well go to New York.
Right? So I guess so. And
Who's
like
left?
I said, hey, I love a story about found family. I like that they make it work. They're just like, hey, hey, little orphan, you're gonna be my child now. I've had a turn of when I thought I solved the case last time, no, you're not coming. This time, I don't know what changed, right? I still would have been like,
You
Katrina,
stay
you
here.
can come because you're getting all this money and you need to marry somebody to get that to unlock
Yeah,
that money. So
so
I got you. Come to
yeah.
my yeah. I'm gonna get myself a brand new bird to put in that cage, maybe even two. And then he just turned to little Masbeth and be like, I don't know, man.
I'm glad that he brought Masbeth with him, but
Uh-huh.
let's think about Sleepy Hollow in the state that it's left in, because we have
Yeah,
no
yeah,
landlord, we have no notary, we have no reverend, we have no magistrate, we have nothing. So he could literally just take over the town. Like,
right.
he's a white man. He was born for that. Like, you take over that town, you tell everybody what's up, take that house. It was Katrina was living in it.
Show everybody your flipping bird picture.
Yeah. Show
Everyone's
them
like, "Whoa,
show them
fuck,
the
wizard!"
magic. Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's now Sleepy Hollow is yours. That's what he should have done.
I was wondering how he was gonna report to Christopher Lee at the end, and then how do you explain all of this that happened?
That, yeah, there's a lot of things that I would have liked to see happen. I would like to wrap some things up here.
Yeah, but it really doesn't. And the movie does really kind of land with this like weird, awkward, like, oh, sun's out. I guess they're good.
We
Everyone
all
just
just live in New York now. We're great.
we live in New York. We're okay.
Mhm.
Start playing that Jay-Z Alicia Keys song, at the end. I love that. And that's Sleepy Hollow.
That's Sleepy Hollow. Yeah, it
That's
does have
Sleepy
a very
Hollow.
abrupt and strange ending.
I think I forgot anything, even though I was a little messy with the details. But that's
No,
all
I
I got.
think
What do you got?
no, I think you got everything. Yeah.
That's good. All right, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Um, there's got to be a couple cool taglines, right?
Actually, this movie has really weak taglines for like what I would consider to be a really like fun movie. Like, it has so much potential, right? All right, so we got six taglines. I'm gonna start with the ones that are long and work our way back. You ready? Okay. Close your eyes, say your prayers, sleep if you can. Feels like this is not for this movie.
No.
That's a thumbs down. Okay, this one's worse. You ready? You can lock the doors, you can bolt the windows, but can you survive the night?
Vampire or
Well, it
some shit.
also
You know what I mean?
it that implies that the movie takes place in one day slash night to me, if you say can you survive the night?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So those ones are shitty.
And it's all overcast. You can't tell if it's nighttime or not half the time anyway.
They get worse. Beware. Just beware.
No.
No. Who will it come for next?
Okay.
Why it?
It's a man.
Yeah, we
It's a
know
horse
it's a
man.
man. It is a horseman.
All right, next.
Okay. Watch your head. That
Like
one
I
works.
it's the bar is so
The
low
bar's
that
so low.
that one just steps over it just casually, and I'm like, I guess that's the best one so far.
I mean, it's it's very low-hanging fruit for the premise of the movie, but yeah, I'm reading them in a very strategic order. And then
Okay.
probably the most popular one that I've seen on movie posters and DVDs and things like that, Heads Will Roll.
That is the best one. I'd say that one is head above shoulders, the
Ha,
best one.
very good. Good job.
Um, yeah. I don't know why you come up with so many of them. If you have one that you know is like good, then just like, yeah, just stick with that one.
You say that, but a lot of the movies that we've covered that only had one tagline, and of course, I can't think of any of them off the top of my head, but they always seem to be just like meh. Oh, like Hubie Halloween had one, and it was Fear Less.
Yeah.
We could have come up
Mm,
with something fun for Hubie.
yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, weak taglines, but good movie.
Boo scores. I can go first.
Okay.
Um, this movie, I don't think it's a hot take to say that this is the last movie in a pretty wild winning streak of movies directed by one person,
Mm-hmm.
going from Pee-wee's Big Adventure to Edward Scissorhands, or to Batman, to Edward Scissorhands, to Batman Returns, to Ed Wood, to Mars Attacks, and then to this.
Mm-hmm.
I might be missing one,
Yeah.
but it's, and then, like Nightmare Before Christmas, his involvement with that at least.
Mm-hmm.
But fuck. So like the industry legend, like I think stands true for this dude.
Oh yeah.
That is a
Yeah.
fucking hot streak of
Definitely.
fucking
Oh, you forgot Beetlejuice.
90s. Oh, Beetlejuice. Oh my
Duh.
God, I'm an idiot. Yeah. So just fucking banger after banger after
Yeah.
banger. And
He
you're
was
like,
just
how can this
giving
dude's
us his all.
and then probably at the time after Sleepy Hollow, they were like, hey man, this dude's gonna do Planet of the Apes. You're like, okay, fuck yeah, it's gonna be a weird ass, you know, fucking Edward Gorey fucking Planet of the Apes. Sure, I don't know. Um, it's this movie's a lot of fun. I remember liking it better before than maybe I do now. I feel like it's
Hmm.
lost a little bit of its luster. Um,
Yeah, it's about to hit
I think it's
25 years old in
I
November.
love all the decapitations. I think the acting is all pretty mid from everybody. The
Mm-hmm.
editing's a little weird. The movie ends in such like a awkward, dumb, like, okay. Yeah, he
Those are
marries her
harsh critiques.
happily ever after, whatever. Um, but I will say, you're getting booze for Casper Van Dien. You're getting booze for Christopher Walken's teeth. You're getting good scary headshots and shit like that.
Love good head.
Yeah. And stop. This movie is really fun. I'd still recommend this to anybody. Especially, I still think it's good for kids. Honestly,
Yeah.
I don't think it goes super hard. Like, and again, it's like pretty bloodless. It's what it is. It's for laughs.
I showed this to my son when he was like 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. You did get a lot of goodwill with that good cast and that set design. Fucking
Oh,
love that shit.
it's so
And
visually just a beautiful movie.
and you're right, I do love a wispy font. Um, I am actually gonna go down from. I think if you asked me 20 years ago, I'd say 4 boos for this movie.
Mm.
I'm gonna say 3 boos for Sleepy Hollow.
Wow, you went down a whole boo. I thought you were only going to go down half.
What do you got?
Okay. I agree with your more harsh critiques that you shared because I'll be honest, I did not think of a lot of those things before I watched it to talk about it on this episode. So I definitely went into it with a harsher, I don't know, I guess just like a more like critical lens of like, wait, this doesn't make sense or that doesn't make sense. But that being said, this is a fun, spooky movie. It still gives me like Halloween vibes, even though it has nothing to do with Halloween. I mean, there is a pumpkin. Um, but like I said, I think it's so visually stunning. The costuming is so, so gorgeous for even the men. Um, the music is great. Like the score is really strong. And I like the general story, like that we have child death. I'm gonna be a little bit more generous. I'll give it 3.5 boos.
Love it.
And I also dropped it from 4 because I went into this thinking it was a 4 boo movie, and then when I watched it twice to prepare, I dropped it down to 3.5.
You ever see the movie Crimson Peak?
No, I've actually never watched that one. Is it any good?
Check, yeah, check it out. It's not. I'd say it's like a distant cousin, keeping in theme, right?
It looks like
Um,
it'd be like pretty, like to watch.
yeah, it's really pretty. It has men dressing fancy and snazzy.
Love that. A lot of ruffles.
You've got some, well, I can't spoil it, but
Yeah, don't
I think,
spoil anything.
but I do think it's pretty fun. I think it's an underrated Guillermo del Toro movie.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, if y'all like Sleepy Hollow, maybe check that movie out. There you go. There's my recommendation if you haven't already.
There you go.
That's all I got. Anything else you want to say about Sleepy Hollow?
No, I think we said it all.
When we're gonna do, we really, yeah, knocked out our Tim Burton movies. I don't know what else he's done that really qualifies. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't think you'd have to twist my arm too much to look at Edward Scissorhands or maybe even Batman Returns a little bit,
I
as far as
think
like the spookier end of Tim Burton movies.
they
But
have horror elements, especially Edward Scissorhands.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
most definitely Edward Scissorhands,
Yeah. But Batman
Um,
Returns is really great too.
so fucking good.
That's one of my
It's
favorites.
it's so good. Michelle Pfeiffer in that
Ah,
movie is,
ah,
but even like,
star.
yeah, when she's Selena Kyle after she gets pushed out of that building,
Oh,
and then
with
she
the
just looks kind
crazy
of
messy
crazy
hair.
hair,
Oh,
all kind of
yes.
fucked up, like, oh my
Yeah.
God.
She just
That,
seems like she's like a little drunk and very
yeah.
sexy.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. Yeah.
Now we're just talking about Batman Returns.
Yeah. Hell yeah. All right, well, cool. Really excited to um just keep on through all the way through Halloween with you
hmm
and you, the listeners. So I appreciate you.
I thought you were talking to the listeners, not
I
me.
wasn't. I was talking to you,
Aw,
co-host.
thanks.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Have a good one. Three, two, one, ghost.
Thanks for listening to our episode on Sleepy Hollow. If you've been enjoying our podcast, subscribe and leave us a killer review on whichever platform you choose to listen. If you're dying to know what we have coming up, don't lose your head. You can find us on Instagram at 321ghostpod and give us a follow. We're very active on Instagram and would love to hear from you. You can shoot an email to 321ghostpod@gmail.com to share any thoughts, questions, or recommend a movie you'd like to hear us chat about. Next week, we're discussing a Halloween classic with Hocus Pocus. Thanks again for listening, and remember, just because someone isn't your cousin doesn't mean they're your soulmate. 3, 2, 1, ghost.